recording. Okay, so we're recording. So the reason we're here today is to try and look at some potential risks to your projects and explore solutions quite early on during your project timeline. We can look at some scenarios, and we'd like to sort of discuss in groups on how to overcome some of these problems. And we'll try and answer some of your questions at the end as well. Rough guideline, again, this is, don't usually stick to a strict timeline. It's just try to go with the flow. We've got up until 7:30. So we'll start off some basics at the start by myself, and then the Caroline will take over with the scenarios exercises. We'll go on to questions later on after that, and then some next steps, and we'll finish. We should finish a lot earlier. It's a small group today. So as usual, I always put this slide up. So if you haven't done so already, please return your full grant agreement document, signed agreement. If there's any specific documents relating to your projects, please return those as specified by your senior officers. And again, if you've not returned your compost consent form, please do so as soon as you can. And if you are still being set up on the council's system so that you can get money sent to your organisation, then please speak to your senior officer to help you guide you through that process as well. So early intervention to potential risks. So we're just going to look at a couple of examples where there may be some risks and some of the early interventions that you could put in place. So the example, we're at the early stages of the project timeline. So here's some examples and issues that may present itself already. So things like getting off the lines late. You expected to get started a month ago maybe, but you're still not where you want to be. Sometimes there are issues with budgeting, things that you didn't expect that to cost a certain amount. The prices may change as well, and also the example of the lack of staff or volunteers to help you with your projects. So those are the three we're going to be looking at earlier on. So the first example is late starting. So what can you look at doing to ensure that your project can still be completed by the 31st of December 2024? So we just got an example kind of timeline on the left-hand side here with 4 phases and an end event. The bits on the bottom represents number of days each of those phases have. So for example, phase 1 is the admin to start the project. You see on the bottom there, what initially you thought would take 25 days has now taken 50 days. So that's kind of eating into phase 2, which is buying the resources, because you would have received the money and then you would have got started buying whatever you need to buy, purchasing what you need to purchase. And that particular phase takes 30 days. Phase 3, as an example, is marketing and promotion. Again, you've put down 30 days for that. Phase 4 is the delivery of activities. You've got 180 days for that delivery, and then you're for this example of a project, you've decided to have an end event as well. So obviously there's a 25-day delay on your first phase to get. So you're starting off 25 days late. So some of the possible solutions, you can look at where you can reduce your timelines further down the year. So you've got these bits, you've got 30 days, 180 days. Is there any way that you can shorten those? Is there an opportunity where you can overlap some phases? So one way of shortening the days on a phase is maybe to overlap some of the phases. So for example, while towards the end of the phase of buying the resources, you could start your marketing a bit, a bit earlier. So you're buying and you're sort of starting your promotions as well. You could continue your marketing and promotion phase into your delivery of activities, because it's 180 days of activities. You don't want to stop your promotions just because you're starting the activities. You do want to continue promoting your events as well. So you can overlap the phases as well. Is there an opportunity to recruit volunteers to support your project as well? So there's some of the potential solutions that you can look at. Another example is changes in budget. So if you think your budgeting will change, some of the repercussions could be that you go over budget and not enough is left for some parts of the project. So some potential solutions, it's not exhaustive. This is just some things that we could look at is possibly seeking other sources of funding to help you top up your budget. Look at using volunteers to support your project. Again, that's really useful. We'll give you contact details for new volunteers later on. Check to see if any of your purchases can be bought or sought at lower costs. You can always negotiate with suppliers or that you're buying goods off of. Is there anything that can be eliminated from cost that will not have a major impact on the overall delivery? So you can rescope your project to see what you can potentially cut on without affecting the project too much. And also, are there opportunities to partner up with other projects? It doesn't have to be PPP projects. It could be other projects in your local area to share resources and costs. Whatever you do, please ensure that it does not affect your completion date of the project and it remains to be completed by the 31st of December 2024. So our next example is the lack of staff or volunteers. So you might find yourself with fewer people to help you with your project than previously expected. This means things could be taking longer than anticipated. So possible solutions, again, not exhaustive. Register with new volunteers, inquire by emailing volunteers@newham.gov.uk. Make sure you keep Newham Co-Create updated with your contact details. It's really important that you do this anyway. But if you put your contact details, we suggest an email address on your project tile on Co-Create. There's been cases where residents have contacted the project lead to say, I'm in the area, I'd love to help. So there's those opportunities as well. Take every opportunity to promote your project. Use social media to promote your project. You might want to watch the clinic we had last week, which is Project Clinic 4, documenting your project communications, marketing and promotion for some guidance. There's some really useful tips that we had a member of staff from our comms team and also public health with some great ideas on how to really promote your projects and get it out to the wider community. And possibly, again, partner up with other projects in your area to share resources and staff. Again, whatever you do, it should not really affect your completion date. So you want to make sure you finish by the 31st of December 2024. Just a really, really basics of risk management as well. Just bear with me and just let people in. People still coming in. Just give me a second.
I'll do that if you like, Chris.
Oh, thank you, Caroline. Appreciate that. So some basics of project risk management. There's many examples of project risk management, but there's some simple ones, some guidelines on how to manage your risk. So first of all, you need to identify your risk. You need to analyze the risk, evaluate or rank the risk, and treat the risk. Number 4, and then monitor and review the risk. So you can see that from the cycle on the right hand side. So what I've done is I've got a template which I will send out with the recording of this clinic as well. If you want to record your risks and manage your risks for the project, I would suggest you do this if you find yourself coming up with lots of problems and issues constantly, where you think, oh my God, I can't keep up. I need to record things down. So, it's a useful template to have for you to just to note down some of the issues you're having and some of the measures you're taking to mitigate those risks. So I'll send this around, like I said, once I manage to get this onto YouTube, a YouTube link, along with the slides as well. So, for example, here on the left-hand side, give the risk a reference ID. I'll just put 1. So the risk title is late start to the project. What impact is that going to have? That means the timeline may be delayed. Events could be run later than expected, and then the events could end up in the rainy months of the year as well. I identified this on the 1st of March. I think this is a medium risk. I mean, again, it's up to you how you score that. It just depends how much attention you want to give it. Obviously, if you put it high, and those are the things you should be focusing on resolving first. Who is the owner is? So, in our group of residents, I'm going to give this to Anna to manage. So, assign each risk to a particular person. I mean, if you're the only person, then it'll be you. The status. So, what Anna is going to be looking to do. So, Anna is looking to alter the project timeline and get volunteers to help with some tasks to speed up admin. So, which means after those measures have been put in place, we put down a description. Once that's been once that action has been put in place, and you say, well, yeah, we've caught up with the timeline and the project is back to schedule, and then we close that risk on, that's been done now, and I put today's date as an example. That's just an example. So again, I'll send this template out to you once we get the recording sorted. So, Caroline, over to you.
Okay, so the last time I was at one of these sessions, I got you all to go and talk into little breakout rooms and discuss things about your project and getting started and things like that. And one of the big things we got as feedback was that you all really enjoyed learning from each other and hearing more about other people's projects. So what we thought we'd do is do something similar this time, only I'm not in a car park, having got stuck in traffic on the way home, so we can give you a bit longer. So what we've got here is we have 3 scenarios of projects that have got a bit of a hiccup in them in the early days, and they need sorting out. Now, the slides that you've just seen are going to give you loads and loads of ideas for the answers, but actually there's a lot of ideas sitting in the room. So we're going to put you into 3 breakout rooms, Chris?
Yeah, just how many people have we got here? Let's have a look.
We've got 14, no, it's going down, 13.
13. Okay, so I would say three sounds good. Yep.
Yeah.
So there'll be
So
3 or 4 people. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got 3 scenarios. So in this one, it's about revitalizing a community space, and that has sort of like seen better days. And you're going to have this, you had all this plan worked out, and now it's not quite going to run to course because the person who wrote the bid and was going to do a big part of it has had to move away. So you've got a bit of a gap that needs filling. I'll go through, can you move on to the next scenario? So we'll just capture all of them. So the next scenario is a tenant's project that wants to run a recycle, reuse and reduce workshop in the park. And they said that they were going to have 15 to 20 people in each workshop. But the first one they ran had 2, and the second one they had the same 2, and they brought a friend. So you're really going to struggle to get your numbers. So it's looking for ideas of how they can get their numbers up. And the third scenario is a project that's going really well. So well, they want to do something else. And they want to start thinking about the next steps and everything. And somebody has been tasked with doing some work around that, but they're not quite sure how to do that. So that's something about sort of capacity in that. So we're going to put you into 3 workshops in 3 breakout rooms. And are the rooms called 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so if you're in breakout room 1, can you do scenario 1? If you're in breakout room 2, can you do scenario 2? And if you're in breakout room 3, can you do scenario 3? And can somebody in each room take a note of some of the solutions? We'll just feed back one really good solution from each scenario. If you feel you've exhausted the scenario because it was quite quick and easy, or you didn't have many ideas, move on to one of the others. It won't matter what other one you move on to, but if you all start with the one for your room number, we'll get them all done. Is everybody happy with that? The
Yeah, so
scenarios.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter each room and just paste the scenario into your chat, but I'm not sure whether I'll be able to do that from being outside of the room. So I'll come in and paste the scenarios into your chats.
Okay.
Don't worry about
And how long have we got in the rooms?
that. I was going to put down 15 minutes.
Okay, you've got 15 minutes. So you should easily, comfortably get one done. And
Yeah,
you might be able to get a start on one of the other ones. But if you start with the one for your room number, that would be really helpful.
yeah,
And if you get bounced out, come back in and we'll re-put you into your room, because sometimes your internet connection doesn't like going into breakout rooms and you just get bounced out somewhere. So just rejoin and we'll replace you into a room. So that'll be fine. And if you get stuck or end up in a limbo space, just come back to the main room and we'll sort you out.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
going to create it now.